All right, y'all. You know what I'm saying? What's a day of boxing news without any type of update when it comes to Canelo Alvarez? All right. So here it is. This is for all my Canelo fans. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and talk about this particular discussion that I'm gonna present to y'all. I obviously want to hear what y'all gotta say, so make sure y'all drop it below in the comments. But let's get right to it. You know what I'm saying? This particular news right here, this isn't new, okay? This particular news is not new. But if you guys look at the title and who the projected opponents for December are, one particular opponent is new when it comes to who he's picking from. So I just want to read this article, talk a little bit about this, because we got speculations all over the place when it comes to Canelo's third fight on his 3-fight deal with DAZN. All right. So as you can see here, what it reads: Canelo Alvarez to fight in London or Guadalajara in December. Now, that's not new news. Once again, Eddie Hearn already made it known that Canelo's preferred place to fight in December is Guadalajara. Okay, that's already been put out there as soon as the 2-fight DAZN deal was signed, and then obviously we ended up finding out about that third fight. Eddie Hearn put that out there. Now, when it comes to the London option, that's Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn wants Canelo to fight in London because he feels like they're going to make an insane amount of money. Obviously, if they do it at the O2 Arena or something like that, where they can, you know what I'm saying, fill the stadium to the top of the top, and, you know, get all that good residual income coming in, or good residual money, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So this is not new news. All right. London comes from Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn wants him to fight in London. Canelo wants to fight in Guadalajara. The only way he's going to fight in Guadalajara is going to depend on, you know, how this whole the COVID shit is going, which it seems to have died down. So there's a big possibility that could happen. Okay. Now let's get into this. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty and the details, because the details is what's important here, because it's not necessarily where Canelo wants to fight. It's all about who he's expected to fight, because we all know when it comes to boxing, it's, you know, especially boxing media, baby, it's about clickbait, it's about titles, and it's about getting you guys to believe something that's probably not even on the horizon of actually happening. And a lot of times that speculation of potential fights, now it's part of the boxing game. This is how the game goes. This is how it goes. And you can't be mad. Either you're gonna leave or you're gonna roll. You feel me? So speculation is part of what makes boxing great, even if a lot of times it can piss people off. You know what I'm saying? It keeps us in tune. And as long as your emotions is involved in something, usually your eye is going to be watching. You feel me? That's how the world works, no matter what the fuck you're talking about. So let's get into this. Let me get to the point that I'm trying to make. And the only way I'm going to be able to make it is if we read a little bit of this article. Okay. So Canelo Alvarez wants to fight in London or Guadalajara in December, according to Eddie Hearn. The Mexican star Canelo has 4 options for his December fights, would be his third in 2022. Now, that's news to me. It's 4 options now. Before, it was only 2, right? It was Makubu or it was John Ryder. Now, I'm going to have a lot of, people come at me when I say that, okay? I know they're going to be like, no, you might fight Andrade, and I heard there's a possibility that, he's going to fight the winner of Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr. and all this other nonsense. Look, it's cool to speculate on that shit. I got no problem having fun with it. I have no problem, thinking about, okay, what's the possibility? But look, I've been said this. When it comes to Eddie Hearn, when it comes to particular fighters, if he's telling you this is what the future most likely will look for the fighter, it's usually about 75% right. It's either or. It's not definitive, but it's either or. For example, Devin Haney and Kambosos Jr. Eddie Hearn has been saying for the longest, hey, we're going to make Devin Haney versus Kambosos. That's going to happen. It's going to happen this year. I don't think Loma's coming back. Now look at that. Eddie Hearn is the few promoters where when he says something, I'm going to be like, all right. And he might be telling the truth depending on who the fighter is. If it's a fighter he has a lot of money invested behind, best believe there's some truth in the shit he's saying. Once again, i.e. Anthony Joshua and his interim fight if Usyk isn't coming back. He speculated Joe Joyce. He speculated Otto Wallen. Now, most likely it's going to be between those two. It's always either or. So it's like, this has been a consistent thing from Hearn. So please don't get it twisted. All the other shit sounds nice. All the other shit is a big Christmas shit. A big Christmas gift wrapped up in this beautiful ass, you know what I'm saying, wrapping paper, a big ass bow sitting under a perfect tree. And then when you open it, you get exactly what you want, right? All those other reports of him fighting Beterbiev and Andrade and all that stuff during December. Yeah, that's what it is. But in reality, we living in reality, y'all. And that goddamn Christmas gift, there ain't no wrapping around it. Actually, mama just came to me and said, here's your shit. Nigga, you better accept it or not. You know what I'm saying? So let's check out what those 4 options are. So it makes sense for Canelo to fight 3 times this year, as his take would be 160 mil with Matchroom Boxing in DAZN. And the options are as follows. Listen closely, baby. Joshua Buatsi versus Craig Richards, winner. And we can actually just go ahead and, no disrespect to Craig Richards, I'm not saying you're not a beast, but let's be real. Buatsi's going to win that fight. So it's either going to be about Buatsi, John Ryder, or Makubu. Why is this so goddamn interesting? Because I was probably the only person, US wise, okay? Don't let me disrespect my UK people, who was talking about Buatsi, okay? I was talking about Buatsi, and I was like, there was a particular time when it came to the UK scene where there was light heavyweights coming up. And there was 3 coming up that we were trying to figure out who is going to be that top dog, and sooner or later going to have to fight each other to figure out who is going to be that top dog. It was Yard, okay? It was Buatsi, and it was Bivol, okay? While Artur Beterbiev was doing his thing in the States, as well as Joseph Jr., right? They were kind of doing their thing in the States, and then we're talking about UK. That's what we're looking at, all right? This is from, a little bit a while ago, okay? In that mix, as there came up, right, Yard definitely got lost in the mix because obviously he had that loss to Kovalev, and he had the setback against Jesus Christ, Lyndon Arthur, okay? Obviously, he redeemed himself. Beautiful comeback. Salute to you. I'm a big Yard fan, so only a matter of time. Anyways, so that happened. Buatsi, his hype died down a little bit because he wasn't really putting on the greatest performances, and he just wasn't getting no love in the States. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying Bivol was getting love in the States, but Bivol made a big move by fighting Joe Smith Jr. People don't understand how that set up Bivol's career to possibly the fight he's getting now. Him fighting Joe Smith Jr. and beating him had some people from the States to be like, oh, I'm kind of paying attention. Not overly the top, but no one knew who Bivol was in the States until they saw that Joe Smith Jr. fight. And everybody was hyping Joe Smith Jr. up to a whole nother level, right? That was the case. So that's why it's very interesting to me that all of a sudden Joshua Buatsi's name pops up as a potential fight for Canelo. What does that mean? Because remember, Canelo's going to be fighting Bivol, right? And then after Triple G. Well, if he beats Bivol, it's for the belt. So let's say he doesn't necessarily vacate those belts. Him fighting Buatsi makes sense. And then possibly we can talk about a Beterbiev fight next year where he becomes undisputed, right? But that's a lot of leaps and hurdles you have to go through because we're talking about a different promotional company. Like, I hate when people are so quick to say, well, yeah, he got a 3-fight, he signed a 3-fight deal with DAZN, but that doesn't rule out Artur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr. winner. Yes, it does. Y'all, we're talking about different promotional companies. He signed 3 fights with DAZN. DAZN is going to make it a priority to make sure that they get the most out of this goddamn deal. So why would they make any sense when every single fighter that he's fought or he's going to be fighting in this 3-fight deal has an association with DAZN, and all of a sudden on that last fight, they're just going to be like, yeah, let's go ahead and do a co-promotional pay-per-view with Top Rank. Does that make any sense, guys? Let's think business-wise. So get that shit out of your head. Watch the videos, have fun, enjoy it, all that boo-boo shit. Yeah, cool. But let's talk real, okay? And what's real is Joshua Buatsi being a potential motherfucking opponent for Canelo, John Ryder being a potential opponent, and Makubu. Now, I've already said I don't see Makubu happening this year, okay? Makubu is somewhat of a hurdle. You know what I'm saying? Makubu makes sense for next year. So I really see it as Joshua Buatsi or John Ryder. I'm still standing firm there's going to be John Ryder because it just makes the most sense. Okay? This is 168 mandatory. So it makes the most sense. But we'll see. For me, the reason why I want to kind of get into this article, I'm not going to be long-winded with it, is because the new name added into the mix from before, it was only John Ryder and Makubu. Some of you guys are going to come from my head and say, no, it was all these other guys. No, in reality, the real only options for the 3rd fight for Canelo was Ryder and Makubu. Now Buatsi is in here. So what does that tell me? Canelo may have some very interesting plans when it comes to the light heavyweight division in the future. That's what that tells me, okay? But we will see, all right? I don't know for sure. Everything is speculation, but if there's one thing that I can get out of this is don't listen to all that other bullshit we're saying there's a possibility he might not fight Triple G, and you know what I'm saying? He might fight the Artur Beterbiev, Joe Smith Jr., that and that. No. All right, y'all heard it here first. And if it got to be a whole year before y'all understand everything I talk is the real, because you're going to look back, a lot of my shit I reported is going to come true. John Ryder is probably the head front, runner for Canelo for the December, because that can happen in London. That's going to sell so many tickets. And I think behind him is probably going to be the Joshua Buatsi fight. And then behind Buatsi is going to be Makubu. That's my personal opinion. But y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all tell me if y'all disagree with me. Y'all tell me if y'all think I'm talking bullshit. Whatever the case may be, let me know. Drop it below in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. All that good stuff. Show your boys some love. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all as always, man. Keep checking out the videos. Keep supporting. And we're going to keep grinding. Nothing but love.